Hey guys, this is Tattootonyalton and welcome back to another video. In this episode, we're going to look at some crimes that were committed and happened in Alton, and then go take a look at the locations where they happened. I put these up on the screen so that you could read and get the gist of what happened. This gentleman was adopted, I believe, and he committed the crimes. I want you to read it. Do you know why? Demonetization. That's why. And so there's enough information there for you guys to read and check this out. The first two places really surprised me because I expected them to have taken place in neighborhoods that weren't so nice. And as it turned out, the first two crimes took place in very nice neighborhoods. So anyways, I don't know. Screw demonetization. Anyways, this gentleman was adopted. Who knows what the story is, but he burnt this residence, caught it on fire to try to cover up that he had stabbed his adopted father and another man to death. And they caught him pretty quickly. Now, this crime and the next crime both happened on the same night, about 5 driving miles, closer if you walked or in a straight line, but about 5 miles driving. Not even 5 miles. Maybe it's a 7-minute drive at neighborhood speed, so less than 5 miles from this location. And coming up, that's a house in the neighborhood, just to show you what kind of nice little neighborhood it is. But this crime, coming up in the clip, we're about to talk to the neighbor, and she is going to tell us quite a bit of information about what happened before the crime and after the crime and what kind of guy this guy was. This was just horrible. He got caught. He knew his world was over as far as his double life, the bad things he was doing, and then he tried to burn the house with the family in it to cover up his crime. Took off. They never found him. Detectives and police kind of speculated that maybe one day a turkey hunter or mushroom hunter might find him in the woods, but they never have found this guy that I am aware of to date. And there'll be a quick photograph coming up. There's one in the thumbnail. And really interesting stuff that the neighbor was telling me. There's the house. We're actually going to see the empty lot. The firefighters could not come in and put the blaze out because he was armed and dangerous and loose in the area, so they had everything staged up the street. They evacuated the street. They eventually searched for this guy with airplanes, helicopters, state police. They were all looking for the guy, never found him. So you could see some of the crimes he was, accused of in that article. And on top of that, I think that his wife had a daughter and they had several foster children. So, what a creep. And, that's just horrible.
The youngest son wanted the house. Mm-hmm. The older son said, no way, get rid of it, sell it. The younger son wanted it. Andre, that came and lived here, that actually burnt the house, was a friend of his from high school.
Oh. And
he lived down in Missouri, and what Matt told me was something about, I got to get him out of Missouri, they're so kind of racist, and so I went out of my way to be more open. I went right away to introduce myself, friendly. My husband offered a couple times to help him with some things, and it wasn't. I think he lost his job. It seemed like that anyway, because at first he was driving to his job every day. He worked as security at one of the hospitals, and then I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of. They didn't put all that in the news story. That's kind of concerning that they had foster children.
He lit it with all the kids in the house.
What's that?
He lit the house up.
Yeah.
And according to his wife, this is all hearsay. I guess I shouldn't be repeating, but this came from Courtney, that he actually put clothing up in the underneath the truck. What do they call those, trusses?
Yeah, I'm in that guy's way, but yeah. He hopefully ain't mad.
Oh no, it's a dead end
Yeah,
street.
rafters, trusses, stuff like that. Yeah.
That he actually put extra stuff up there before he lit the house up.
Yeah.
And she had left the house at the time because he threatened her life.
Yeah.
He was choking her.
Well,
he also was armed. So when they sent the police out, they got the kids out and out of the way, and then they didn't let the fire trucks in right away because they didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
And he was armed. So
yeah.
they were walking around with with their rifles. It was kind of scary. I don't know. They finally came and asked us to leave.
Yeah.
They said, "Can you leave?" And we said, "Yeah, we can." So we grabbed the cats and left. And we got down at the end of the street, and there were like 3 fire trucks. There was Godfrey and Fosterburg, and I think Brighton was even here. But they weren't letting them in because of that. But so by the time they cleared the area and let the fire trucks in, I guess it was pretty well involved.
Cool.
So we get free passes. We get so many free passes because he works for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, he got all those kids, and if he doesn't have a job, and it's just a drive-through. They weren't allowing anybody out, so COVID didn't really make any difference. So I took a pass over for him, and he just kind of like, okay, and took it from me. And then later, Courtney comes over, banging on the door, and she goes, "I am so sorry. I need to apologize for him." He said, when I asked him where he got the pass, he said, "I don't know, some lady." And she said, I just want to apologize for him. I want to thank you very much for the pass. The kids are going to enjoy it, like a real neighbor.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who I was after living here a year.
That's weird.
Bang on our door, and it's like, my husband gets up and he goes, "What did you do?"
Oh,
Normal husbands.
Yeah.
Blame it on the wife. I said, "I didn't do anything. I'm still asleep." So we're wandering around the house trying to figure out what's going on. Well, she took on down the street. She got refuge, farther down in a home. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't expect
No.
all this going on.
Nope.
So it was a really different morning. And then the house sat there for a long time, and it needed to be taken down.
Yeah.
And nobody was ever going to live in it again. It was condemned, basically.
So that was interesting. I wish I would have recorded everything that she told me, the whole story, but you get the gist of it. And, that's kind of rare. I don't often get to have such very nice people live near this location. Don't very often get an opportunity to talk to somebody who was present and had information before and after the fact. Coming up, there'll be another clip here.
What street is that? Wedgwood?
Humber Road, the one that burnt the same morning.
Oh, that one, yeah. But I just
complained enough about this in Madison County.
I find that incredible that happened on the same day.
Almost the same time.
So, they said almost the same time, and what they're talking about is that other place we just took a look at in the other neighborhood, almost the same time. They were unconnected. Now, this is Paula Sims. You guys may have heard of her. She was in national news. I don't want to make any commentary on it, but she killed a couple of her children at different times, and her defense was postpartum psychosis, and the governor of Illinois, after 20, 30 years, has decided to release her. I've talked about this in videos if you've watched all my videos before. I actually lived in 2 places that were near where she lived at in 2 different states. And, that's what a coincidence. Both were in walking distance from where I lived. So we're going to take a look at that house here. And I have a little footage of what it looks like around there driving to the home, so you guys just can get a general feel of the area. And Alton used to be quite an interesting town, quite a bit of crime. There still is, crazy, sad stuff that goes on. But if you look up what Alton was like in the 80s, 90s, just for a small town, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Do some research. Leave it in the comments, stuff you can find. Maybe you can find some crazy, horrendous, crime rates, some of the problems that were over here, and leave something in the comment section about it. And if you're watching the video, go check the comment section. You'll find more information from the viewers. So this is going up, I think this is Main Street right here, and it runs from Broadway up, and then we're going to cut over on another street and go on Washington towards the home that Paula Sims lived in. Interestingly enough, the house is, right next to, literally borders right next to a elementary school, which, so here's some of the big houses. I kind of slowed it down so you can see some of these large houses. There were several more like that on this street right here. One caught on fire and was burnt down. As I said in my other video, tons of houses are gone. That house that was just to the left, and this right here is one of the homes that Paula Sims lived in. And that building you see right on your right there is the side of the elementary school. So you see how close this is to an elementary school. Anyways, comments. Here's the old sidewalk here, and we're going to take a look up the street here in a second. There's some apartment buildings on the right and one further down the street. And we're going back towards the home. Used to be somebody lived in this home that had some rather large dogs that barked. That it was not Paula Sims. It was, 15 years ago. They had some pretty... Now, here's some young people. They're in the thumbnail, and I guess there was a party, and we're going to drive to that street and take a look at the 400 block of West 19th Street. But anyways, they were at a party, and then... I guess there was an altercation and some people came back and used some firearms, and anyways, somebody was murdered, and I think that 2 or 3 of these people have been caught, and a couple of them are still on the run according to the information that I could find as of the time of this article. So I didn't necessarily see, maybe you guys can check it out, I didn't see where some of these other people had been caught yet, and I think this gentleman's still wanted. Anyways, take a look at that for me. Tell me what you find out. Don't know if you like this video or not, the idea of it. If you have any comments or tips to help make this type of video better, let me know. I found a screen recorder where I could get the articles and then kind of scroll them for you guys to check them out, and so you could take a look there. Let me know any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions. I'd be happy to read them, so leave them down in the comment box for me. Here we are turning onto the street. There's a couple abandoned houses on this street as well. I'll show you one that looks, nearly abandoned, but it was just sold for back taxes, probably really cheap. And then we're going to slow down and show you one that's right here on the right. That is currently abandoned. Maybe we'll have to go check that one out sometime. And this was right before I found the last house I showed you guys. I went and drove up over. Man, there's so many houses that could have been explored here if I was doing this real heavy about 15, 16 years ago. It's really a shame that we missed so many. But if you're new to the channel and you found this and you're still here on the video, I implore you to check out the rest of my videos, because we've been in all kinds of crazy abandoned buildings and situations and found really weird things. Just really a lot of really fantastic explorers on the channel for you to check out. So here we are going back up the street, and here in a second you'll see the camera really slow down, and excuse me, that is because we're taking a look at an abandoned house. It'll be on your left here coming up soon. You'll see the footage slow down so you guys can have a look. There you go, you hear that sound? It's right there. You see it? Looks like it has a condemned sign on the door. I don't think anybody's living there. It's hard to say. However, there are some really cool buildings that are condemned with the signs on them here in Alton that, you know, I thought about going in. Then I saw there was like cats all over inside running around, and it looked as though somebody had decided they weren't going to leave. So hit the like button, subscribe, share. Appreciate you guys watching.